In 2017, Marvel released a special publication crossover with the Northrop-Grumman company introducing the N.G.E.N Unit. N.G.E.N, standing for Northrop-Grumman Elite Nexus, pronounced as engine, such as the engine of an automobile. Comprising of a diverse set of unit members comprised of Alyssa Wu, with the talents of, quote, being a cyber architect and manufacturing expert who specializes in modeling interfaces that merge the human form and cybersecurity structures, end quote. Hector Soto, whom was a former United States Air Force pilot. Heidi Barber, a former teen idol and television actress, whom was also a mathematician and neuropsychologist. Orville Norwood, whom is a notorious hacker, who was also hinted at to be a pro-Black Lives Matter activist and later, quote, worked more as part of a team, end quote. The plot of the comic had Red Ronin attack a seaport in the US state of New Jersey, and the Avengers are having a difficult time trying to stop the supervillain. The Avengers don't have a lot of choices presented to them and eventually has to use the N.G.E.N unit to stop the threat. The comic book ends on a to-be-continued cliffhanger with the situation against Red Ronin unresolved, with hints and references to the main mastermind behind the attack with Red Ronin being Ultron. In the book, it encourages the reader to look into more information about Northrop-Grumman throughout the comic. Though it had a cancelled Comic-Con event to promote the partnership in that year, further, it was later cancelled due to reader and critic backlash against the concept. One of the intentions of the proposed comic series was to promote STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. But what angered readers precisely is that this implementation of STEM was with an organization such as Northrop-Grumman. From public information available, Northrop-Grumman as of 2018 had a revenue of $30 billion, but most of that profit came from military aircraft and vehicles, as well as weapons and information technology, all related to war or conflicts internationally. In all fairness, Marvel has had other partnerships with its comic characters in the past, and it's related to and is a business. But the promotional comic of the N.G.E.N with the Avengers such as Captain America, who has been characterized for decades as believing military action should only be a last resort, and Iron Man, whom has had a history with the military within the comics from Vietnam to Iraq and Afghanistan, and him being actually a former weapons seller to a firm support of a country's rights to peaceful measures to solve disputes, is heavily out of character for either of them. The comic itself was reported to have clumsy writing and a typical theme that comprised of a focus on the promotional content within the comic. The established superheroes and superheroines mentioned in the comic crossover are upstaged by the guest stars and consistently promotes the content that the collaboration paid for. The N.G.E.N members are also of diverse backgrounds on purpose, that is meant to appeal to all kinds of readers that happen to read the comic, and encourages them to look into the paid content further. Ironically, the promotional comic was originally free, but news reports from 2018 had it that copies of the issue in good condition were valued at over $100, and even one example of a perfectly minted condition issue that is valued at over $300 for a CGC grade of 9.8. Naturally, due to the controversy surrounding the partnership of Northrop-Grumman and Marvel. After the reader and critic backlash, Northrop-Grumman and Marvel canceled their partnership. In all events and future stories with the N.G.E.N characters were abandoned. A character can be overrated but hated because the characters had ulterior motives for what they did.